What's up, you cool cats and kittens? Uh, uh, those of you who've been watching that Netflix series know what I'm talking about. All right, so this is part one of a two-part series where I'm going to show you how you actually start analyzing your data. So you're watching this video because you've collected your data and now it's time to actually put those pieces together. You've probably already seen a couple trends. You can kind of see overall things of responses, but now what we want to do is actually get into some analytics of comparing things together. So I'm going to show you how you're going to take your information from SurveyMonkey and get it into Excel. This will also help those of you who have this problem of, well, SurveyMonkey only letting me do 40 responses before it locked me out. What we're going to be doing is taking all of our responses in SurveyMonkey. We're going to be typing them into an Excel document. And then what you can do is you can delete those responses that you've already typed out, and then it'll open up the rest of them. So you'll be able to have access to all of them by deleting the ones we've already typed into Excel. So I'm going to start at the beginning and go through with the survey you were supposed to do. So this was the Dress for Success survey. So this is just me opening up the file here. And out of the 64 of you, 13 did it. Thanks. Real helpful. But actually it'll make this video go a lot easier because I won't have to be typing in all 64 responses. All right, so here's what you got. When you get to analyze results right here, and it opens up, you're gonna see the overall trends of what the numbers were. And that's great for that question. But real analysis comes from comparing two of the things together. So the people who said they, took a lot of, that got an A on a test, how does that correlate to how dressed up they were? And we want to put those together. And it doesn't really work this way. Now, as I'm doing this video, if you either paid for these, you can see right here, is that it'll automatically upload this into Excel. Google Forms will also upload it into Excel, but I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. So no matter what, you'll be able to do it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to your 365 account. You're going to go over here and you're going to open up an Excel document. Okay. New blank workbook. And you know that it drives me crazy when you guys do not name your things other than book. So I'm going to call this Dressing for Success Data. Okay. Excel is more than just a fancy table. Once you have all your data in here, it can do a lot of stuff to sort things together. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to take everything in here and I want to put it in here. Now, one of the key things that we need to understand is that our data is not about everybody together. It's about what one person said about a specific thing. So you need to go over here to individual responses. And this is what's key, is that under individual responses, you're going to see how one single person answered all of the questions together. So I have 13 of 13. I'm going to go ahead and just go back to the first one here. Okay, so respondent number 1. And then you can see some cool stuff like when they responded and things like that. So I am going to, I've got these questions here and what they all said. And this is helpful because I can see that this person was a 6 and dressed up as an 84. So I'm directly relating those things together. The first thing I need to do to set up my Excel document is I need to get my questions in here. So I'm just going to copy, Control C, and I'm going to go over here and do Control V. Now, look at how messy and horrible that gets. Okay, so I don't want that. So you need to make it format so it looks nicer. So here's a couple things you can do here. So I'm going to hold my cursor in between A and B, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, well, great. It's a little bit bigger. But the problem is that it's still scaling all the way across all these other words. And if I try to click on these other things, it's still scrolling over it. So back in this A1 column right here, row 1, column A, is we are going to go over to up here where I'm hovering. It says wrap text. If you click that button, ta-da, it's going to take it and it's automatically going to wrap it all the way around, so it's not going to go into your other things. Okay. You do not want to leave spaces in your table. It's going to mess up formatting later. You also can do merge and center. And then makes it a little bit pretty where now everything's a little bit nicer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that with each of the rest of my questions here. So let me go ahead and move that off to the side. All right, so I'm going to go over, and my second question was, what grade did you get on that test? I'm just Control C. I'm just copying and pasting. Oh, and look again. It cut it off. So I'm going to, while that's loading, I'm going to say merge and center, wrap text. And also I can hold my cursor in between B and C and just hold down with the mouse and pull it. That way it'll go in the center there. You also can do things where if you don't want to be at the bottom, up here, you can have it be at the top, in the middle, at the bottom. That's just whatever your personal preference is. That's not really a big thing. So I go through, I'm going to get each of these in here, okay? And just going through the same process each time. So what kind of class was it? I dress up on test days. Merge center. So the reason I'm going to do all of this, you're going to want to get really good at, let me go ahead and pull that over a little bit. I might want all this at the bottom. You're going to get really good at your keyboard controls if you're not already, to make it go a lot faster. So again, Control C, Control V is copy and paste. Some of you might go, oh my gosh, Dr. Oldham, really? Who doesn't know that? You would be surprised how many people don't know that shortcut. All right, so now I've got them all set up. Bam, 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 bam. Those are my questions. Here's what I need to do now. This is where it gets a little tedious, and I told you it's going to be like that because that's what data analysis is. It's tedious. So on my first person, I'm going to go through and I'm going to enter in their answers straight across. So think back to the last test you took. 6. What grade did you get on that test? 84. What kind of class was it? Honors. And then I dress up on test days. Sometimes. Ooh, see, look, that kind of went over to the next one. So I'm just going to pull this across a little bit. Sometimes. What describes your grades? A's and B's. And then agree. Be careful when you're doing these is that you spell them correctly. When you go to sort everything, if you have something that says agree with 2 E's and you accidentally did agree with 1 E, it will not sort. You'll miss out some of those things. Okay, so another quick little shortcut is notice how I kept having to go back between the 2 tabs. You can pull apart your tabs like this. Okay, and on one side, so if you hold, I'm holding down at the top. Oops, it's not actually going to do that because I have 2 screens open. Hold on one second here. Ugh. Sorry. So I'm going to pull this off to the side. It's going to click in place. I'm going to pull this off to the side, and it's going to click in place right there. And now, well, that's annoying. Maybe it's not going to let me do the thing that I wanted to do because the screen is over here on the side. Maybe go away. Nope, that's okay. We can still do it this way. All right, so now I'm going to go to respondent 2. This is not going to be as pretty as I want it to be. And I'm going to start. Will you go away? No. Typing in my respondent 2. Okay. Respondent 2, and notice that I just went up here to the top and clicked it over. Respondent 2 says 595 AP. So if I come back over to the screen here, I'm just going to put them back together, guys. Sorry about that. All right. So it was 595 AP. 5 tab 95 tab AP tab. And then never A's and B's, neither agree or disagree. Never A's. Look, I just typed the letter A and it already started going across. So once you start doing that, it's going to start getting them all the way across here. So A's and B's, and then neither agree nor disagree. All right. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to take a quick pause, and then in seconds to you, you're going to see the whole thing filled out. It's going to be magic. Poof, magic. Okay. So that cut was amazing, by the way. So here I've got everything typed in. So this is only 13 because only 13 of you did it. Notice before you ask me this question, yes, it says 14, even though it's only 13 responses, because the first one right here was our questions. All right, so one thing that came up, because I want to show you what you have to do as a researcher here when you analyze. Everybody else typed in a number. This person just said B. Now, in order to analyze this data, it's got to be a number. So I either have to make 2 decisions. I either have to throw out this entire thing here, now, which I would do if it was a joke. I could just delete the whole thing. Clearly, this isn't a joke. They just answered a B because I wasn't specific and I didn't say numerical number. So I make a decision. What do I think a B means? So I could put it as an 80 or an 85. I'm just going to say, well, if they said B, I'm going to say 80. And I'm making that executive decision as an analysis in my analysis. Okay, so I got everything typed in. Now what we need to do is we need to format this as a table. So that way I'm going to be able to easily sort everything. So you're going to click on A1 in the top corner. You are going to hold down with your mouse and you are going to highlight all of your data here. Okay. You actually can do this before all of your data is in. It'll just automatically keep going, but I have all my data in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to format as table and I get all these little options here and you can pick whichever one you want. I typically go with this one. You want to make sure it says my table has headers because those questions that you wrote at the top are going to automatically be included. I'm going to say, okay, now, ooh, nice and pretty. Everything's sorted. And here's why this is so great. Now, watch as I can go through and sort this based on whichever one I want, and everyone will stay the same here. So if I go to, maybe I'm interested in, well, how many people actually dressed up? So I can click on this button, sort by ascending. Okay, so look how interesting this is and how quickly. These people that said 0, they got 80s, 95s. They say they rarely ever dress up. And they're B and C students. So that's immediately making me go, So kids who don't dress up are really B's and C's. As I go higher here, I look and I see, okay, so 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 10. Other than this number 7, all of these people who are on the upper level of what they dressed up as are getting A's and B's. So immediately I can start seeing that there's something to my hypothesis that maybe dressing up does affect your grades. Now there's a lot more to look at because we want to look at this. This person said 5, but got a 36 on the last test they took. Now this is also why you can see that 13 is not enough to be able to make an analysis. So there's no way I'd be able to actually prove or disprove this on 13 people. But you have a lot more than this. So this comes back to my problem of I have 69 surveys and I can only do 4 of them, right? So once you get everything typed into your Excel, if I had more than this, what you can do is when you're on individual responses, you just say delete. Now I'm not going to delete this one because I need it, but it gets deleted. So let's say you type in those first 40 responses, you delete those first 40, then you're going to immediately have access to the next however many you have. And that's how you can beat the system without actually having to delete or having to pay to get your extra surveys. All right, so now you've got your beautiful data here. It's all organized. You can sort them by whatever you want. I could sort them by increasing. So no one said strongly agree, which is interesting. So, but somebody said agree. Most of my people said neither agree or disagree. So this, as I'm analyzing this as a person going, well, that was a bad choice for me. This is not helpful data for me. And you're going to come across that when you get your own. In the next video I'm going to do about this, I'm going to show you how to actually create graphs and analyze by comparing these things together. And that's going to be over here and when we do insert and do all the stuff in here. But what you can start doing until that video comes out is you can start getting all of your data in, kind of playing around and seeing what those trends are. So if you have any questions, remember to send it out on the remind. Check the teams, make sure you're responding to those things I send out. And don't forget to like and subscribe.